Welcome back to All Things ETH. My name is Aaron, and on this channel, we talk about all things Ethereum. We talk about projects, NFTs, play to earn, DeFi, and price. And today, guys, I've got a very special guest today, Sk CryptoK from the Elephant Money ecosystem. Now, you might wonder why I'm talking about Elephant on this channel as it's not on an Ethereum chain. Well, it is on the BNB chain, and BNB started on the Ethereum chain, or as a fork of the Ethereum chain. So it all works together. BRC20s are very similar to ERC20s, and you can still use your same MetaMask-based wallet. So it's all interchangeable, guys. So let's jump on in and welcome SK. Welcome, SK. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm doing pretty good today, brother. Thank you for having me, Mr. All Things E. What's up?
What's up? Thank you so much for joining us. I've been in the Elephant Money ecosystem since June of this year. I tripped across, I think it was actually an AMA with a couple of your cohorts on James Pelton's YouTube channel, and dove in, got introduced to a couple of other people in the ecosystem, and as we do here, we each one teach one. I got bombarded with invitations to be taught about the ecosystem by a bunch of people, and the herd is amazing. Talk a little bit about how you got started in it, if you don't mind starting out there, and then let's move on to the Elephant products.
No, absolutely don't mind sharing it all. So for those who don't know, hello, my name is Sk CryptoK. I have been in DeFi, playing around in this playground for since January of 2021. So a little over 2.5 years. And I have diversified amongst a number of different protocols, right? Dozens upon dozens, some of which I've made money, some of which have been rugs, most of which have all just died. And Elephant is just that one, that unicorn, right? That just keeps on going. It's my best performing asset that I've been in since day one. It's the only one that's over 2.5 years old that's actually still thriving and deepening liquidity, and really just has the tokenomics, the math that can really carry this into the stratosphere. So I'm excited to be here to talk about Elephant Money. I pretty much found it because I've been following Bank Teller for a while, where before Elephant Money, he was coding on the Tron blockchain and had a protocol called Bankroll Flow, which is what Drip ultimately forked and ran away with some success with. But that was my introduction to Bank Teller, and really just learning about him and following his journey. And it was just a natural progression to fall into Elephant Money and really, believe in his vision and carry it out.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, my channel, we haven't talked about this too much. There are about 3 or 4 videos about Elephant in, if you want to check those out, guys. But just to get in a little bit deeper today, I want to talk about the Bank Teller in particular. I think I'd love to talk about his background, MIT grad, and has worked for some of the largest banks in the TradFi space. Came into crypto and really has brought some of that that intellect that I think might be missing in DeFi, to be honest with you, as maybe a little bit, and some of that just innovation that he's taken from his TradFi background and brought into the crypto space. So SK, tell me a little bit about just a quick overview of what the ethos is, or the reason, the why behind Elephant Money.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing up Bank Teller. So for any who don't know, he is a doxed dev. His name is Tony Perkins, but he goes by Bank Teller. Okay, he is the Batman of DeFi, or the Iron Man, or Tony Stark of DeFi as well. And what he specializes in is everything DeFi related that he's been coding in for 7 years now. Right, started on the Ethereum chain. I jumped over to the Tron blockchain and now Binance Smart Chain. And through all of everything that he's messed with, and the successes, the failures, the competition, what you have now today, after all those 7 years, is the culmination. of all of that hard work in Elephant Money. And this comes at a time where he's only been coding for 7 years for DeFi specifically, but he's been in when since like 2011 with cryptocurrencies in general and Bitcoin mining and things of that nature. But as you mentioned, he is a computer scientist from MIT, and then he also did work over 25 years across business and economic backgrounds, being a CTO at Fidelity. He's also worked at State Street. The pedigree behind this guy is just incredible. And, you know, um, personally, I've been following his journey for years now, and I can't think of a better founder who has a vision and can actually, code what he envisions for one, and then just follow through with this community that he's painstakingly built out over all these years. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. What I love about Bank Teller in particular is he shows up all the time. I know a lot of devs, especially those who are not doxxed, that kind of hide in the shadows a little bit and only come out when they want to. Where BT shows up almost every single Wednesday. Every time I've been on, at least on the Wednesday, the space on X, he's chatting for a little bit of the time, giving his input on the current week. I mean, it's week to week, you know, pretty much week to week. You correct me if I'm wrong, but he's there a lot of the time, and then he'll just go on his rants, if you will, and give us downloads of his thoughts. And I think he's probably one of the most not only prolific but also just most transparent devs that I've run into in this space, especially in DeFi. There's plenty of guys in the maybe in the game fi space or the play to earn space that are just as gregarious, but in DeFi that's pretty rare in my experience.
yeah, same here, man. He'll shoot it straight with you, really. You ask him a question and he makes himself available not only in the main Telegram chat for Elephant Money, but like you said, these weekly spaces. And 9 times out of 10, he's actually there. You actually get a chance to talk with him. So it's nice to be able to have a founder that's accessible in that manner, and will really just you know tell you the truth and why these things work. And his frame of mind is such that you can really tell he has the background that I've already described. And sometimes you may hear a decision that to you doesn't sound normal or make sense, but in the long run you're like, oh yeah, I see why he always says chess not checkers. I see how he was thinking 10 steps ahead. I see why he was upset or happy about this or that. It's an incredibly dynamic relationship to have with him in Elephant Money, but very rewarding, very cool. And yeah, I'm happy to share his vision.
That's awesome. So you've been with BT on this project for the entirety of the project since 2021, or I'm sorry, is that the correct date?
Yeah. Actually, my very first video on YouTube was on Elephant Money. It was sometime in March of 2021, and this is after I'd already discovered Bankroll Flow, and I was really just jumping into DeFi. But yeah, I've just really just been following the journey, man. I'm just a passionate participant across all DeFi protocols, really. But this last year in particular, I've really just honed in on what's working, and that is Elephant Money. Like that, it's the de facto best thing in crypto, hands down, bar none. That's
Awesome.
just my opinion, not financial advice. But yeah, that's me. And I don't get paid to do this. I'm not on any kind of marketing team. I'm just my own dude who just talks about what he loves, and it just happens to be Elephant Money. And thankfully, BT recognizes that, and I get some attaboys and some kudos for it. But my mission, my talents to teach people why this protocol is amazing.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for coming on today. And so let's get into the. It's great to hear your passion. Let's start there. It's great to hear your passion about the product. So let's get into the product.
Yeah. So a little bit of an overview of Elephant Money. The best way to describe it is that it's the first global decentralized community bank. Okay. We all know what crypto is. It's a big middle finger to the powers that be, the centralized world that we exist in. And Bitcoin and everything that's come after it has just been on a mission, right, to really give the financial power back to the people, right? So you're not just a cog in a wheel of a system you can't control because you're just a peon, right? So, but at Elephant Money, with anything that you're doing in crypto, right? You want to make profits in the real world, and you probably want to take some profits that are, happening in other DeFi plays that you're doing, but you want a good store of value. You want that place that you can call home, that you can actually store some profits and actually have it either, make more profits for you, or at least not, completely die like 99% of DeFi, right? All of these projects that come out, and they got fancy white papers and flashy websites, and then like within a year, hey, they're gone, you know. Um, but you don't have that at Elephant Money. It's already over 2.5 years old. Let me reiterate that. But here at this bank, okay, the central idea here is store of value and offering a product that is attractive to people, which is yield. Okay. So when it comes to this ecosystem, you've got the elephant token, right? And this is a finite supply. There's scarcity, supply, demand happening with just the token and the fees that are being collected on the buys and sells. But really, the main front office products are things like futures, which is an annuity style contract where you're locking up capital, but you're earning a 0.5% a day interest on, and then another contract with the unlimited NFTs. Now, the reason these are interesting is because all incoming money that goes into any of these contracts, they all get centralized into the elephant treasury, which is so important that he named her Bertha. Now, Bertha is that benevolent whale. She will not dump the token on you, but her existence is to gobble up as many tokens as possible, create a supply shock on that scarce token that I mentioned, and really just prop up the entire ecosystem for the long term. So we'll get more into detail on that, but it's all about buybacks of the elephant token for Bertha. But that's the singular thing that really connects everything, and why this protocol is solvent, why it's still deepening liquidity and kicking all sorts of ass, nearly 3 years in, and why I think people should learn about this.
Yeah, 100%. So, just a quick overview. If you buy and sell the elephant token, Bertha gets a 10% tax on that sale. And she immediately buys more token, whether you're buying or selling, right? So, 10% of each buy and sell, that's the token dynamics. And that's pretty common, not common, I shouldn't say, but that taxed token is something that happens in DeFi fairly regularly. And I've talked about it in regards to other things I've mentioned on this channel. So that's not something new to my audience. Now, what is new is the other two, the dynamics of what's going on behind the scenes, where Bertha eats those taxes, and instead of having some dev or team lining their pockets with your tax money, it's Bertha that's buying back the tokens, and she is going to make sure that we don't get some major plummets in the price action, and also gives a lot of buoyancy to the price as well. Kind of makes a floor, if you will. SK, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's my understanding of how the elephant token works. Now, obviously, we have also futures and unlimited. Futures being the annuity style product, and unlimited being an NFT product that's similar to buying real estate. And I'd love to get more into those and how those feed into Bertha as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try to piece everything together concisely right here. But this pie chart that you're looking at, when I say that elephant token is a fixed supply token, there are only 1 quadrillion that exist, or 1,000 trillion. Some people like to hear it that way. And of that 1,000 trillion that will ever exist, right? You cannot create more of this. This isn't the Federal Reserve that you can just like go print more if you need it, right? This is it. This is the finite supply. And half of it is locked in a smart contract called the graveyard. It's always going to hold 50%. and can go up to 51% via reflections off of those fees, the 10% fees that you mentioned. And it will just rebalance. It'll just ping pong between 50 and 51%. Now, that leaves 500 trillion left, for the rest of us. And that includes us, the participants in green. That includes Bertha, this elephant treasury in blue. And then what's on the actual marketplace? What's on PancakeSwap? These LPs, right? When it comes to the BNB and BUSD pairs. Now, I'm just going to hit play on this graphic, but you'll see this left half, these 500 trillion that are available. Look what's happening, right? Bertha is getting huge, and she is buying up a lot of these tokens that are sitting in the marketplace, and that yellow piece of the pie really shrank. Okay, now what's really interesting is when you combine Bertha with the graveyard, that is a lion's share of all of the protocol owned liquidity. And this is where it gets interesting, because as the protocol owned liquidity gets larger, the more the price is actually controlled and hardens over time, right? We're still early. Right
Right.
now, we're still early. You're still going to be looking at a chart that's going to be chopping up and down and all sorts of things, 3 years into it. But ultimately, we are early. And that's the really cool thing. So, um, over time, Bertha's going to just keep getting larger. And eventually, pretty soon, actually, she's going to eclipse the size of the participants. I think right now the spread between them is about 5 or 6 trillion tokens, before Bertha is now bigger than all the humans combined. Think about that. And as she just becomes a larger and larger benevolent whale that doesn't dump on you, you're going to have some really interesting price action. And so, yeah, that's the fundamentals that I hope people kind of already understand. And then when you see how the NFTs and futures really builds on top of that mechanism and buys more elephant token specifically for Bertha, you'll see why this blue Bertha piece of the pie is just getting larger. That's the crazy thing about this protocol.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Let's move on to unlimited or futures.
Yeah. Let's take a look at unlimited, which I was happy to see this change. This is on the main homepage, but he actually shows off the latest mints that are happening on site right now. So that's pretty cool. This is what they look like. Okay, it says "Long live Bertha" for the herd on the side, and "Bank Teller we trust." But so these are interesting. Okay, when it comes to Elephant Money Unlimited, these NFTs are like real estate. And before I get into the detail, I want you to imagine. You are buying prime real estate in your favorite city, New York, Miami, wherever in the world, right? And you purchase that lot of land with the expectation or hope that it is going to appreciate in value, right? So when that happens, you have that plot of land, and then you're collecting rent on that plot of land. So that's what's happening with these NFTs. You have an NFT that over time appreciates in value, and you're also earning quote unquote rent in the form of elephant money, um, perpetually, coming out of Bertha. So, when it comes to Elephant Token, it's already an appreciating asset. It's a leading digital asset that appreciates over time and has done nothing but since inception. And you're earning that as a reward, in addition to, the floor value of the NFTs going up over time.
Awesome. And the current APR right now is at 24.5%. Which is a great yield. I mean, that's way higher than you're going to get in your bank. Obviously, even with interest rates as high as they are, the federal funds rate is at 5%. So that's 5 times the federal fund rate, and that's only on the unlimited side, where it gets. You heard earlier, guys, that 0.5% per day is what's available on the future side. So I'm excited to get to that, as I'm a bit of a yield degen, if you will. I'm always trying to find the highest APRs. Now, I do own a couple of those NFTs. They cost 2 BNB right now. Is that correct, SK?
I'm so sorry, that last little bit cut out. What did you say?
I'm sorry. No,
Uh,
the price to mint unlimited is 2 BNB, correct? Right now.
oh yeah, correct. We are in round 2, and when it launched, these were 1 BNB per NFT.
Honestly, so yeah, so go over that round system. We're in round 2 now. We'll hit at some point round 3, which will pump the price to mint these unlimited NFTs to 4 BNB. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So there's an ever increasing floor price. The reason why these are called Elephant Money Unlimited NFTs is because technically, theoretically, there's an unlimited amount of them that could ever be minted if you have the funds. Now, they come out per round, and each round has 10,000 of these NFTs that can be minted, right? And you can see what they look like down here. They're various colors. Um, so when round 1 came out, that 10 batch of 10,000 each cost 1 BNB a pop, and they launched in July. They were sold out in August. Okay. And then round 2 started. So after every 10,000 mints, the next round doubles the price. So we went from 1 BNB, doubled it now to 2 BNB, and then eventually, when we go into the next round, it will double from 2 BNB to 4 BNB, and then so on and so forth. 4 will turn into 8, 8 will turn into 16, and then 32. These NFTs are going to become very highly priced, one of these days. And depending on how early you get in, whether it's round 1, 2, or 3, and you hold this for the long term, and this is giving you gains better than real estate does, and you're talking about every time the floor price doubles, your staked dollar amount doubles. Okay. The larger that Bertha gets, we already saw on that pie chart, the bigger that she gets. She's paying out a 1% APR into the reward pool. So this is going to continually go up as well. It's a very bullish ecosystem right here. And 2 BNB is a steal, especially with depressed BNB prices that we've been living with for a year and a half now.
Right,
Just
right. I mean, we're
imagine you hit all
just over two
yeah.
hundred dollars per BNB right now, right? It's just over 200. And
Yeah.
I think I bought mine right at 200, so I felt pretty good about my buy price on those unlimited NFTs. And you said that 1% of the reward pool goes to paying out the liabilities, right? From is that including futures, or is that just unlimited?
Nope, that's just unlimited. The rewards for unlimited NFTs are purely as simple as it sounds. It's just 1% APR coming out of Bertha, going specifically to the NFTs. And she's always getting bigger. So just remember, Bertha gets bigger because every time somebody mints one of these NFTs, that 100% of that value is buying Elephant Token and stuffing it into Bertha,
And
right? Think about that.
that's awesome. That's what I want to hear. That's what I wanted to get to, is specifically for my audience, is that whenever you're interacting with these smart contracts, you're adding to Bertha's girth, essentially, right? You're
Yeah.
giving Bertha more BNB with the unlimited contracts, with the purchase of, or each mint of these NFTs, and it's going to just feed Bertha and make her larger, as you showed in that previous infographic. So it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, check this out. Even with the mint value, so this is kind of combined now from what we've had in round 1 and then also so far in round 2. But so far, the protocol, or Bertha specifically, has collected 13,251 BNB coins. Think about that. That's over $3 million in value at today's BNB price. Now, all of 100% of this value, this didn't go to a dev fee. This didn't go, to some other place. This all went specifically into the Elephant token as a buyback for Bertha. And what is the protocol doing with all of this BNB? Let me just show you the chart. But look, this is since inception. Okay, this is when it launched in May 4th of 2021. And a year and a half ago, we already had an all-time high. If you looked at this in terms of US dollar value, it just looks like a double top recently. But look at this. Back then, over here, we held about 60,000 BNB coin in the protocol at the first all-time high before a black swan event. And then a year and a half later, right, we've just been accumulating more and more BNB, more and more. And then look what happened here before the recent sell event here in early October. But even nowadays, we're holding on to, I think, 94,000 BNB coin. Let me see the holders list. So we interchange between the top 2 and 3 holder of wrapped BNB on chain, but we have 94.8 thousand BNB coin in this protocol. And at the top right here, we had 116,000 of those coins. So over time, we're gobbling up more BNB coin for the protocol, and that's despite BNB price actually going down. That's the crazy thing. So if I zoom out on this chart, just real quick. Oh man, if I can even zoom out all the way. Yeah. So look at this. Here's our first US dollar all-time high in April of 22. Okay. And here we are a year later. It looks like we hit a double top, but really we hit this first all-time high while BNB was priced at $430 per coin. And then you're telling me we hit another USD top, right? With BNB 50% cheaper, around $200. That just let that sink in as far as, you know, the strength of this protocol, really gobbling up cheaper BNB coin, and it's charging up a spring that's really, really going to propel us going forward into the bull run.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So 100%
Yeah.
of the BNB gets eaten up by Bertha, and you get currently 24.5% APR, and that's paid out in Elephant token, which, you know, because Bertha's getting larger, should appreciate, right? Not financial advice, but should appreciate in value. And so you're getting, you know, that APR should continue to rise as the price of Elephant goes up. And that's going to be huge for those who own that little bit of real estate, right? That high value real estate that's part of this ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. And I mean, the trend is your friend. When you look at this chart, and I zoomed all the way out, what overall do you see the trend line doing? It's not an always up 100% of the time token, but damn, I think anyone would be hard pressed to show me another DeFi protocol that's almost 3 years old that has an overall upward trend on the token, right? So you're earning that in the NFT as a reward, okay? And if I was to hit my collection right here, total, you'll see that I have earned 2.8 billion tokens, or basically 1,000 of Elephant. But if you believe in the tokenomics and the math and the future of this, you know, look at this as like a 401k or a 2 to 5 year outlook, right? Like this isn't just something you buy. Like you DCA into something like this, you DCA into futures and the NFTs. But when Elephant token, you know, in my opinion, when it 10x's, my $1,000 right here will 10x. That'll be 10,000, you know. And you know, if this 100x's or 1,000x's, so too do my rewards. Okay, you are earning a leading digital asset as a reward for these NFTs, and you are incredibly early. And just how early? Just how early are we talking about? Okay, there's a reason that right here, Bank Teller put this supply adjusted price. If you were to take the 1 quadrillion supply of Elephant and for fun, make it the supply of Bitcoin, which is 21 million, you get a supply adjusted price of an $18.34 Bitcoin. That is the equivalent scale of what Elephant token is today and how early you actually are. So if you take the current price of, I mean, non-financial advice, guys, but if Bitcoin is $38,000 and you divide that by the equivalent of today's 1834, that is a 2000x. Now, I'm not going around saying that, but the potential is there. And you know, this vehicle, this Iron Man suit that Bank Teller has created for us will only go as far as the community takes it, right? But that's why we're doing each one teach one. That's why we're doing these AMAs. That's why we're educating people on the math and the tokenomics to see that we are incredibly early. And this protocol has already done a 100x. If you were in June, right, at the all-time low of Elephant token, June of 2021, you are already more than a 100x, right? And we did this on the backs of what, 10,000 active participants in this protocol. What happens when we go nuclear? Okay, there are technically 30,000 holders of Elephant, but people get shiny object syndrome. They chase other things. They lose interest. What happens when this does go viral? Okay, and we go to 50,000 holders, 500,000 holders, 5 million holders, and all of that economic energy being collected, right? With the buy and sell fees, the futures, deposits, the NFTs being minted, all of that gets channeled right here to Bertha, the elephant treasury, who remember on this pie chart, I said 500 trillion are available between the participants, Bertha, and the LPs, right? 500 trillion are available. Bertha has 192.7 trillion out of that 500. Okay. She is gobbling up a lion's share of that and really squeezing up the price. Like once you see how this is all connected, man, it's I can't think of anything better.
Yeah, it's really brilliant. I got to give it to BT. I just haven't seen anything like it anywhere else. I mean, Drip tried with some things, and other people have tried to fork parts of things that BT has created, but nothing is like Elephant Money. The products, it reminds me of a bank. It really does. It reminds me of, a credit union or something like that, where you're, all these interacting parts work together so seamlessly to create the yields that we're looking for as participants in this ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. Really, it just comes down to product market fit at the end of the day. I mean, a lot of people just think of Elephant as only a token. It's not. This is a business, right? And the token is just your share price. Okay, you hold that share token, that price you have, and you just hope that the business is successful. And the product being sold here is yield, right? 0.5% a day on your futures, 25% APR, that's variable on your NFTs. It's been as high as 55%. With the future projections of Bertha's size, and the appreciation of the token, don't be surprised if the NFT APRs go over 100%. Okay. And by that time, you might be priced out if each NFT is 32 BNB a pop. And what if BNB price is $1,000 per coin? You're telling me you're going to pay 32,000 for an NFT? That's going to be a whale game at that time. You are
Right.
so early on it right now. It's just 2 BNB. Are you kidding me?
100%.
This is incredible, man.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people get a little bit scared of that curve that we've seen from the price of the token. A lot of people, that I've reached out to honestly and said, "Hey, check this out. We're super early, like Bitcoin related price. We're at $18, right?" But they see
Yeah.
this upward curvature and they go, okay, it doesn't look early to me. It looks, but then you zoom out and you go, this is over 3 years. Like, especially the last year and a half, 2 years, 18 months, we've seen the price go, when I started in June, like, let's check the price in June real quick. I think we were down at, less than half. In fact, I've already made, I believe, a 2x in my investment alone. And we can't, yeah, I mean, we're looking exactly at 2x from current prices from where I bought in, and this is just back like less than 6 months ago, right? Like 6-7 months ago,
Yeah.
I bought in and I 2x'd. In fact, I got to be completely transparent. I had a bug in my ear tell me that I need to, and nobody told me this. This is completely just on a whim. I actually sold part of my Elephant shares at the top of that peak that we saw back in October, and then I rebought when we just a couple of weeks ago, and not at the bottom. I wish I had bought at the bottom. That would have been amazing. But this isn't a token that most people trade because of the in and out taxes. Or fees. Sorry, that you don't want to be. You can't arbitrage this. You can't go from you might see a little bit of variance in the cost between the BUSD LP and the BNB LP, but you're not going to be able to arb that because that 10 in, 10 out. So I just got lucky. I mean, honestly, it was one of those things. I'd get into it, but then I'd go down a rabbit hole. So let's move on to futures if that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at with the NFTs. One other thing I'd like to point out with those real quick is just the fact that there is a marketplace that's built in. So, you might come here and say, oh man, 2BNB, is there a way to get it cheaper? And you might be able to find an over-the-counter sale, someone wants to sell it cheaper. But there is a built-in marketplace. And if you look at this tab, right now, there's none available because these keep selling out. But there's an automatic 10% discount on that. So if you see one and you could snag it up, you can get it for 1.8 BNB. Okay. And they go fast. I'll tell you right now. And I've actually been on kind of a shopping spree the last week. I probably bought another, 15 or so just off of this marketplace. I've been watching the Telegram bot whenever it pops up. But yeah, this is really exciting. And for the folks, really, if you buy this NFT and you just wait for a future round, say you buy it at 2 BNB and then you wait until, round 4 or whatever, and it's 16 BNB. Well, you can come to the marketplace and likely sell it because it'll be 10% down from 16 BNB, and a whale out there is probably going to want to get one. And the only other thing to mention too is that there is a very rare NFT called the Black Series. Okay. And there's a 6% chance upon mint of actually landing this. And if you do, it will give you free admission to all future elephant money conventions that are going to happen starting, sometime in 2024 and beyond. So really cool if you can land one of these. There's even been some that popped up on the marketplace. I don't know why on earth you'd want to sell a black NFT, but there have been some. I haven't caught one yet, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was just so early that people don't realize the value of those black ones. I mean, they look really cool. They look all of the unlimited look cool because they got those cool colors. They got the shiny bit, whatever. It's a really cool NFT with the animation and all that. But the black, it just pops. I mean, I wear black hoodies all day long, so I'm way into this. I hope the chance to mint one of those. What do you say, 6%? That's very small, but there's definitely some out there. So you're early, guys. You're early. Get in, mint these, especially right now as BNB price is so low in comparison to where it's been in previous cycles and where it could be soon as as we're leading into the next halving for Bitcoin and the ETFs news that's on the horizon for that will just bring a lot of liquidity into not only Bitcoin but the whole space, right? All of DeFi.
Yeah, absolutely. And I threw up this graphic right here as well, just so people, really when you go to the homepage, you see there's elephant, there's futures and NFTs. And you can kind of use this as somewhat of a guide on how you want to diversify into them. If you're just a degen and want to just go for the token, right? And if as long as you have the stomach to handle the volatility of that token on its overall rise, right? Buy the dips, but just ride out the wave. But you can go really heavy into a diamond hand position with this elephant, pie chart right here, majority elephant token, and then having NFTs just gives you more elephant token over time. So that's kind of nice. But some people like an income focused approach where they are heavier in futures, and we're about to talk about futures, but you'll see how it's a very calculated cash accounting growth cycle that you can plan ahead with 0.5% a day, or you can kind of break it up into any of these pie charts that you see. I'm probably more on this moderate balanced here. I'm heavy into elephant and futures, but I am trying to get my NFT bag to catch up.
I'm pretty
this
similar.
is really cool.
I'm actually more in this bottom left quadrant where I've got a little more elephant than anything right now, but I do have a couple NFTs and I'm just starting to grow my futures account. And I believe I'm actually going to be closer to the majority futures with my plan to check out, just to really double down on what futures is. So let's jump on into futures if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're going to jump into futures right here. And I saw this pop up. I forgot I actually had this, but just an FYI, if you wanted to know how elephant token's performing against the world, right? Just the token. And this is the backbone of everything of why it's sustainable with NFTs and futures. But you'll see we've been trouncing all over Bitcoin. Okay, and gold and Apple and the stock market, right? We are outpacing everything, and that's because of the finite supply, supply shock, shockonomics that are happening at Elephant Money. But really, futures is what's fueling this growth. Okay, and you can see when futures launched on this graphic. Shout out to Crypto Stu, he put this together. But Bertha, the Elephant Treasury in yellow, token count is just going up nicely, but her value in blue is going up exponentially, right? And this even captures the recent sell events in October here. But futures came in, a lot of those funds came in for buybacks for Bertha, right? Then the NFTs came out here, fueled more buybacks for Bertha, really pushing up the value of Bertha right there. So yeah, let's talk about futures. So I know you've made a couple videos for your audience with futures. The more people I talk about this with, like especially like serious investors and whales, they love the idea of futures. So basically, in a nutshell, this annuity style contract is where you are forfeiting your capital, right? You are locking it up. And you can see here in my bag, I have 65,000. And if you followed my trajectory over all these AMAs I've been doing for the last like 5 months, you'll see back when I had like 23,000 and then like 35,000, 45, like it's been going up because I'm attacking this aggressively. I'm compounding it. I'm adding fresh capital from other protocols, and I'm really trying to get this to 100K personally. But what this does is I've locked up the 65,000. I cannot on a whim take out all 65,000 right now, right? I can't. But I'm sacrificing it so that I can earn 0.5% a day in available interest, okay, that I can interact with. And I have two choices with this $905 you're looking at right now. I can claim it out, which if I did, and I know you're familiar with Drip, but in this one, if I claim this out, my balance, my value will deduct 905. Okay. So I have to think twice and be strategic. Do I really want to claim this out right now? Or do I want to compound it in? And there is no compound button, folks. There's not a compound button. But if you deposit a minimum deposit of 200, it will go into my value plus 200, and it will roll in my 905. So my value will go up 1100, if that makes sense.
Right, and that's what's feeding the ability to make this happen. It's annuity based product, right? It's if you're familiar with that term, you're building an account that you're drawing upon long term while you're getting some yield on top of that, and that's what we're compounding with that $200 minimum deposit is the ability to compound that 0.5% per day. Now, if you don't compound that, if you decide to claim, the only two things you can do with this contract is either add or claim, right? You deposit or claim. Those are the two interactions. It's very, very simple.
Right.
You add $200 minimum, or you can do 1,000. You can do more than that. But most people, I think, are doing those $200 minimum, or they're claiming. And a buddy of mine, shout out to CryptoKR, he put in $100,000 just a couple of months ago and is doing a 20-day compound and 24-day compound and a 4-day claim. So he's going to compound that with a $200 minimum deposit after 24 days, and then claim just that 0.5% for 4 days. So he's making what he's actually done, and this is not financial advice, guys, but I'm going to do something similar. Is actually borrowed. He's got a great job. He's fairly wealthy himself, so he's not the norm. But he borrowed $100,000 from a bank, and he put it into futures, and he's paying down the interest with his initial. He's actually already claimed enough to pay the interest for the entire year on the $100,000 that he's taking out, just from the first month and a half on this $100,000 investment. Now, I don't know what interest rate he's getting. It's probably pretty low because he's in the medical field. He does pretty well, but he has already paid for the interest for the entire year on his first 4 days of claim. So he's compounded once or twice now, but he's already within the first 2 months of starting his futures account, he's paid off the interest for that $100,000 loan for the first year, and so every other claim, every month he's going to claim 2% essentially of that compounded amount, because he's only claiming he's compounding every 24 and then claiming additional 4 days later. So it's just a little bit of that account, and it's a great strategy because it's only taking out a little bit every month to be able to pay off the interest, but also give him a little bit of cash flow. And that's what I'm excited to be doing soon, and I'll be doing that starting in January. So I'm going to be recording that adventure and giving everybody an insight into how that's working out for me. My goal, honestly, is to replace my income by, and this is totally doable via the calculations, as long as the health of the ecosystem continues and people continue to put, grow the ecosystem. As long as we're each one teach one, right? And we're DCAing and all that, we're going to have great health of this ecosystem. And SK, tell me how much this is costing Bertha on a regular basis right now.
So there was a breakdown that Mike Dre, shout out, did in the chat before, but essentially when it comes to Bertha's not always paying everything out here. You have this BUSD buffer pool, so if someone has like a simple claim like a $500 or whatever, it'll come out of this without ever touching Bertha. And I think it was about a 45 to 55% split, where 45% of all of the like $2 million that have been claimed out ultimately out of futures so far, 45% of that came out of just the BUSD buffer pool. Okay. And the other 55% came out of Bertha. So, all in all, she's, had how much deposited? Nearly $21 million right here deposited, but she's only come out of pocket to pay futures, a little over $1 million. Right? What does that tell you? Like that is crazy. And when you compare this to stuff like Drip or any of the dozens of clones of Bankroll Flow, right? Those would just have money that comes in, sits in a pot until somebody compounds their face off and then drains that pot. Okay. This is different because it's built on top of Bertha, which is a supply shocking mechanism that doesn't exist in anything else. So, if the two things that killed those Bankroll Flow clones were hyper compounding and serial claiming, that's addressed here already. Nobody can compound every day unless you have $200 to put in every day, which then again, you're still putting in $200 every day to hyper compound, quote unquote. And then two, when you claim out, you're deducting from your balance. You're not just earning 0.5% a day on the same static value. Your value's dropping. So if you claim every single day, your 0.5% a day is getting smaller and smaller, right? That's the magic here. Yeah.
Awesome. So again, when we any money that goes into futures actually feeds Bertha, correct? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll reiterate for the folks that may have forgotten, but everything at Elephant Money is pointed towards buybacks of the token for Bertha. That includes 90% of all deposits that go into futures. 90% of that buys Elephant for Bertha. 100% of the minted NFTs buys Elephant for Bertha. And how that looks here on futures is in this yield tab. And I'll show you some historical values right here. If I could just pull up something. This is a staple that I've done in many AMAs, but this is from back in June, right, of this year. And this is when Bertha, look at her, she was only at 144 trillion tokens at a value of $24.5 million, right? And in this particular day, we had multiple deposits totaling $518,000. This bought 2.5 trillion tokens specifically for Bertha. Okay.
Wow.
And the people that fully expect to get ROI on this 518,000 back, by the time they're owed that, Bertha doesn't even sell the same 2.5 trillion this gave her. She sells a fraction less. She might only sell 500 billion, right? And that's because of, remember, this chart right here. As she gets bigger in token count, her dollar value goes up. So she has less and less liability to cover on the cash accounting, right? She just sells less tokens to meet that same dollar obligation. So if that's what this image looks like right here, and then I fast forward to October 23rd, which is an image right here, okay? This is another gangbusters day. We actually had a day that nearly $1 million came into futures. And I caught this snapshot of 779,000 in the BUSD Treasury, which on a daily basis, part of that is going into buying elephant token for the treasury, which, look at this. Now at this time, she was 182 trillion, valued at $76 million. Look familiar? You see how $24.5 million went up to 76 million? Because her token count and her value goes up. That's what makes this completely solvent
Right.
compared to any of the dozens of forks that we've seen. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Awesome. So I've got about 10 minutes left. I'm sorry to wrap this up a little bit, maybe shorter than maybe either of us wanted, but I got to go pick up my son in about 10 minutes from, he's at youth group tonight. But what else should we talk about in the next 10 minutes? I know BT in particular is doing a couple changes on the back end. He would like to make this all immutable, or as much as possible immutable. I know there's been some changes with the Binance stuff with CZ stepping down. What can we expect in the next couple months from BT in particular and Elephant Money? Just to know that we're a little bit flexible. We're pivoting with these changes, and I just want to give some peace of mind to those who might look at CZ stepping down from Binance a little bit, as a rocky ground. I want to reiterate that BT is still working, still behind the scenes, but also wants to make this immutable and so that it's can't be messed with.
Yeah, no, I think those are some really good points to end on for these final 10 minutes. So CZ and the latest news, and I'll reiterate what I mentioned earlier about how this protocol has continued to gobble up more BNB, especially as BNB coin price has gone cheaper and cheaper the last year. And why was BNB price going down, right? It's because of all the litigation and all of the investigation that the US government has been announcing it was going to take actions and steps towards against Binance, right? There's been this dark cloud overhanging the whole Binance brand, right? And we know that the Binance exchange is completely separate and different from BSC as a blockchain.
100%.
But, the sentiment goes hand in hand. So anyway, that dark cloud is gone, right? So
Right.
what the latest changes are is that CZ took a plea deal that absolved Binance of all these things that it was being investigating, all those things that were a dark cloud. That has now been handled with a $4.3 billion settlement, right? And also CZ stepped down and appointed Richard Tang, who has over 30 years in regulation experience, and he's the right hand pick by CZ. So Binance is in really good hands. They're going to be complying with everything with the US, and going forward, this is fantastic news, and in my opinion, extremely bullish. Because look, this could have gone a whole different way, right? Instead of taking the plea deal, CZ could have taken this and dragged this out for years and years, kept that dark cloud hanging over the head, and then you don't know if they would have won or lost, right?
Right.
And if the government really wanted to, they could have just wiped out the Binance exchange, which would just kind of have a bad negative connotation and sentiment with the BSC blockchain. But that isn't the route that was taken. So this is extremely bullish. I think it gets a lot of the red tape out of the way, and this is going to be very beneficial for BNB in this upcoming bull run, and especially Elephant Token, since we're married to BNB. And in the short term knee jerk reaction, you may see, and you have already seen, BNB price going down. But remember, BNB price going down from 430 back here down to 200. All we did was accumulate for Bertha in the protocol, and we spring loaded up, right? And that's what we're going to do again. This is just an accumulation zone. Every time we have some sort of sell event, we just accumulate and bounce back higher. Okay. That is the trend line of Elephant. So this is going to be really, Really cool. So that's what I'll say about that. Another change that is going to happen is going to be with futures. This will be a cash accounting contract, but instead of BUSD in and out, it will be BNB in and out. So if you want to compound for $200, you're going to use $200 worth of BNB at that day's price of BNB, right? And when you
Interesting.
cash out, yeah, and when you cash out, it's the same way. You're going to get paid back in BNB tokens, whatever the cash accounting is. Does that mean that my 65,000 right here is going to turn into BNB and fluctuate with the market? No, it's cash accounting. This will be $65,000. I just have an in and out of BNB. So I think that is extremely bullish if you're wanting to collect BNB tokens. That's one change. And then really, he's, a large portion of Elephant Money is already renounced and immutable, like the token. Here, let me look at this chart right here. But the graveyard, this smart contract, immutable. The token itself is immutable. The liquidity is locked. Okay, and this liquidity is deep, guys. Just don't get it twisted. It's almost 3 years old with $77.5 million across 2 LPs. We're number 3 holder of BNB, number 5 holder of BUSD. Come on, man, we're a juggernaut. But the one thing that he wants to move away from before the end of the year, if possible, is going to be renouncing everything and anything related to Bertha. Okay. So right now he still has whitelist control to where he can, like the NFTs, for example, that came out in July. He whitelisted Bertha to pay 1% APR to the NFT rewards. Okay. He is feature complete. He doesn't need to do anything with Bertha anymore. She's completely fortified, protected, can stand on her own. And now she will be joining the ranks of the graveyard and the lock liquidity in the immutable token, to where she will be completely renounced, further renouncing the protocol and giving BT one more step towards retiring from Elephant Money and letting it truly just run on its own. So it's going to be really cool.
I love how BT is streamlining this. Were other mechanisms that were a part of this ecosystem and still are. Some of them won't get into those, but I love the how Elephant, the token, the unlimited, and the futures all really mesh together, giving you two great products built on the token and all of it built on Bertha. I just think there's huge potential for this. And again, we're early guys with Elephant token. We're early with Unlimited. As SK said, this Unlimited has only been live since July. I'm sorry, since July. So less than 6 months. These Unlimited NFTs have been able to be minted. And futures itself is relatively recent, but has already built up sizable income is for Bertha, and that's just fed her, and she's grown because of it. And until that little tick down in October, man, that was parabolic movement. There was I believe I posted on X like 10 days in a row because on one day I just said, hey, every time Bertha or every time Elephant has a green candle on TradingView on the daily, I'm going to post out. And gosh, I don't know how many people ask me about Elephant because of that. So those events, those green candles, those whatever you can wrap into how to teach one, right? Getting content out there. I mean, SK has been he's basically started his YouTube channel on Elephant Money. I'm wrapping Elephant into what I do in the DeFi space and the yield farming space, and I've had so many people to reach out to me. And SK, last but not least, are we still able to put out those reference links, that those not downlines necessarily, but those are we still able as people in the Elephant ecosystem able to refer others and still make a little bit of Elephant back in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, with the contract, it is immutable, right? There's a 10% fee in, out, and on transfer. But if you have an upline that you choose to go with and go with all things ETH right there, but you get a 1.5% discount if you are connected to a partner. So instead of paying 10% for the Elephant token, you can only pay 8.5%. 8% of which goes to Bertha, as shown on my screen, and the other 0.5% will go up to the upline. So basically, if you buy $1,000 worth of elephant underneath All Things ETH, he will see a modest $5, right? In elephant token. But what's cool is after elephant token does a nice, 10x, his $5 10x to 50, right? So
100%.
each one teach one. This all pays off in the end. And I know you got to go, brother. And just thank you for having me, guys. This is a fantastic protocol. It's already a leading asset. I think if I were to look at this particular stat right here, but we are 290% up in the last year. Okay, outperforming 92% of the top 100 cryptos. And when you see volatility like this on the chart, that is completely fine because Bertha, who is channeling all the economic energy, she's getting larger. And the larger she gets, the more that these price swings will be controlled. So, don't get dissuaded by any kind of downward chart action. This is no different. What we're seeing right now, chopping sideways, is no different than what we've done for the last year and a half, where we were just accumulating, and everyone's like, "Oh man, is elephant ever going to pop?" Blah, 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 blah. And then boom, before you know it, it does. Then we accumulate again, and then we pop off again. Okay, that is the cycle of elephant money token. But it's a fantastic thing. Check out futures. Check out NFTs. It's got an incredibly bright future. You are so early. So thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sk CryptoK, for joining us. Make sure to check out his YouTube page. Let me find that real quick. I believe I've got it up here. And like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this video, but also go over to Sk's YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and hit notification bell on his content as well, as he's got more information, more than you could ever imagine on, and constant updates from BT himself. These great AMAs that he does, as well as the comments that he gets from BT, all get in this awesome channel. Thank you, Sk, and man, you got an awesome voice. I just got to give you props. Every time I hear your voice, man, it's just I'm sure that's why you have 4,085 or whoa, your subscriber count is pretty impressive, bro. Like 4.5, 4.8. That's like double mine, and it's all because of that voice. But
yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I should
awesome.
do some more work on trying to grow the channel. But yeah, thank you for all the kind words, man. It was a pleasure to be here. I look forward to having more conversations with you in DMs and on future AMAs, dude. We
Let's
have
do it.
a very awesome future of elephant money ahead of us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for everybody for watching. Shoot, I keep I keep coming back to this wrong page here. Let me wrap this up. All right. Thank you so much to Sk for joining us today. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more content just like this. And God bless, guys. Awesome.